Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 4 Knights opening. Now going along with this, we're going to take a look at some trap ideas, some ideas for white and black, and what the strategies are, including a very nice trap that I did not know until I learned this. And I learned this already as a master, so it's a pretty good trap if masters do not know this. Alright guys, here we go. We start with e4, e5, knight to c3. Now this is technically the Vienna opening, but it's going to go ahead and transpose or turn into a 4 knights after the following moves. Here black plays knight c6, again a book move. Bishop over to c4. Again, the main line of what a 4 knights is actually play knight f3, knight f6. But again, like I said, this is going to turn into it. So a lot of times when you're playing into this, the openings will just converge or turn into the same line. But here white went ahead and played bishop c4. And here black played knight f6, and here white plays the correct move, pawn to d3. Correct move, what do you mean by that? Here you have to be very careful. If you're not paying attention here, especially for white, you can fall into a very basic trap here. What do I mean? After knight f3, it's actually black to move here, and black is actually in a better position. What do you play? Here you get to play this very nice trappy move. I like to call it the knight trick of knight takes on e4. Well, what does this do? The knight just takes back. After knight takes pawn to d5, we're going to win our piece back. Plus, we're going to have the only pawn in the position, meaning only pawn in the center. After bishop takes d5, queen takes on d5. Now black has no problems in this position. He is definitely better. Why? Well, first off, we got 3 pieces in the center. We have the only pawn in the center, and we even have the bishop pair. At this point, again, there is no question about it. Black is much better here. So don't fall for this trap. Remember, when you're doing this, go ahead and play the pawn to d3 first, as they did here. Remember, if they try to do it now, after knight takes, don't take back with the knight. Make sure that you just go ahead and take back with the pawn. Because remember, knight takes, d5 will get played. So just go ahead and play the simple move. Pawn takes on e4, and you'll just have an easy winning game. Just go ahead and give your opponent the very nice look. Okay, back to the game. At this point, it is now black's turn, and black plays the good move. Black goes and plays bishop c5, and this already goes into something I don't like too much. This is called symmetry, or the same type of position. I don't like these kind of games because if you're trying to win a chess game, you have to create some kind of imbalance, meaning something that's different. Whenever the things are the same, you have the same ideas, it's hard to play for a win because they can just copy you. So to make sure that you don't do this, you have to play a little bit differently. In this position, white plays the best move. They're going to go ahead and develop knight to f3. Now we're at that 4 knights opening. And now black goes ahead and castles, which technically is not the best thing to do here. Yes, it is a book move, but you always want to be careful about castling too soon, especially in these positions where it's very symmetrical or the same. Now you have to be careful because white did not castle. They might play ideas like h3, g4, and just start pushing their pawns up, which we will go into in another video. But here, we have a very good move we could play for the advantage without making any kind of weaknesses. Here, we're going to play the best move, which is bishop g5, developing with a threat because of this pin. Now, this is one of the nice ideas in this position because, well, we're going to create the imbalance right now. What's the imbalance? Here, black makes the a bad move and plays pawn to d6. Why is this bad? Remember, we just mentioned we developed with a pin here, and what do you do with pin pieces? You add pressure. Here we're going to see a very nice trap idea by white here to win the game with this pin. So here, the reason why d6 is bad is because the bishop cannot retreat back to e7. Now, if the bishop was here on e7, black would have a perfectly good game and would be able to play normally here. But because it's not there, well, this bishop pin is just going to be annoying. Notice the queen has a hard time moving, or else we'll take and give him double pawns. And with double pawns in front of the king, open g-file, it's just going to be a very bad game for them. All right, here we go. White goes in and continues. Knight to d5. Remember, whenever you have this pin, add pressure to it. Here already, there's no good way for black to not lose as far as lose the king side or get some double pawns over here. It doesn't matter. Remember, the bishop can't retreat back. And here, black went ahead and played the a bishop to g4. Now, I will point out something here real quick. If white was wasting time here and played the simple move of, let's just say, castling here, black has 2 good ideas here. He can either play bishop g4 here, which will make the game the same. I mean, literally, everything is pretty much the same here. Or you can go for another very good standard plan here of bishop to e6. Now, the reason I point this out is because, well, after bishop e6, white's best move is to go back with bishop b3 or play the knight to d5. Here, if you don't know this basic plan, please add it to your ideas. Here, the idea is after bishop takes on e6, white takes is bad because after f takes e6, black is actually in a better position. Wait a second, I thought double pawns are bad. They can be bad, but this is not one of those times. When the pawn takes back, it takes back toward the center, making a very strong center with these 3 pawns, but it also opens up the rook. And now we don't even have to worry about bishop takes f6, as the rook can just take back over here. So this is a very nice plan. If this ever does happen to you, do not play bishop takes on e6, simply play bishop b3. So if they do take, remember, take back toward the center with a takes, and now you have the open a file for your rook. All right, let's get back to the game. At this point, white went ahead and played the good move. Remember, what do you do with pinned pieces? Add pressure. Here we go with knight to d5 exclam over here. And here, black played bishop g4. Again, it didn't matter if he played bishop e6 at this point, as the knight is already here. And there's many good moves here to play here for white. But at this point, black did go ahead and play bishop g4, thinking, you know what? If they play bishop g4, I can just go ahead and play the knight to d4, and I'll give them double pawns too. Remember that one extra tempo? The one extra move white got at the beginning of the game? Most of the time, it doesn't mean anything. At this point, it does. And here, white gets to play a very nice move. White to move. What do you play here? Here we go. We get to play queen to d2. This was very much a shocker for me. I was just like, well, what does this do? I don't want to get doubles of the g-pawn over here. Believe it or not, this is actually okay. At this point, the game is pretty much settled. Here, the nice trappy game, hopefully you memorize, gets played. Here we go. Bishop takes on f3, a terrible move. Now, you could take back right away, but you have to make sure you do this on tempo or at the right timing. If you play g takes on f3, not the best here. Now the knight will jump to d4 for knight takes f3. And, well, I will say white is still better here. There's a better way to play this. Instead of taking back right away, we're going to go ahead and make our own threats. White to move, what do you do here? Remember, when you're looking for moves, look for checks, captures, or threats. In this case, we get to play bishop takes on f6, a beautiful move. Why is this so nice? Well, if you don't take back, you're just going to be down a piece here, right? We're also threatening queen to g5 for checkmating idea. So there really is nothing better to do than just to play pawn taking here. I mean, yeah, unless you just want to be down a piece. Gosh, I don't even think, again, like I said, after queen d7, I think you could play something like queen to g5 here, and you're probably just going to be winning here by force. Yes, yeah. I think here the only way that you can play is something like queen g4, and then which case you'll just play g takes f3, and then queen takes, okay, or you're just winning here. That's the point. So anyways, back to the game after bishop takes on f6 here. Pawn takes on f6. And here, there's a few winning moves here to play. Feel free to push pause if you want to try to find one of them. But here, I like the way that white played it. White goes ahead and plays queen to h6, a beautiful move again. Now, you're more than welcome to play g takes on f3, because now we have the rook to g1 check. The problem is that after king to h8, you're going to be escaping all the variations. Now, white will probably at least win a pawn, but it won't be as decisive as the game is going to be. Notice that when you play the queen over to h6, now you're threatening knight takes f6, winning the queen right away. Because, well, after knight takes f6, check. If the king goes to h8, it's queen takes on h7, check and mate. And this is the brilliant idea that white played with queen to d2, not even looking to take back. So we're threatening to take the bishop, and we're threatening knight takes on f6 check. There really is just no good move here. In the game, bishop took on g2. I mean, again, it really didn't matter. And here, well, there's two winning moves here, but the best was played. Rook over to g1. The reason you don't play knight takes is because black is already ready to sack. Again, you are still winning here, but black will just sack, and then take your rook. Again, you'll be winning here either way, but if you want to be the best player, you have to be as precise as possible. So here we're actually just going to play rook g1. Now we're threatening rook takes on g2 and knight takes on f6 check, winning the queen or checkmating this king. The game ended thusly. The king went over to h8, and now we're going to go ahead and take knight takes on f6, threatening queen h7 checkmate. There is no good way to stop this. So queen takes, king g8, and now the best move here, rook takes on g2 for check and mate. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Remember, this was a basic idea of the 4 knights, which is whenever you're playing this, make sure that you don't fall for the trap of knight takes on e4 here, right? Make sure you play the pawn to d3 first, not knight to f3 of allowing knight takes on e4. Also, remember the idea of playing bishop to e6 here to trade off, and do not allow them to play bishop g5 against the knight if the bishop is not on e7. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.